Here talking about the E3 Gaming Expo. Now, E3 Gaming Expo ends tomorrow, and for those, and I didn't even realize this, but there's a lot of people that don't know what the E3 Gaming Expo actually is. And now the E3 Gaming Expo is it's a bunch of game developers that get together and they show trailers and they show new content and they even publishers like Microsoft and Sony get together and show off new hardware like the fucking Xbox One S, a little bit slimmer, or the Xbox One Scorpio. Fucking, it's got like a 980 graphics card. They keep calling it like 10 teraflops of RAM or some shit. Whatever. It's like a 980 graphics card on a PC, which is fucking bomb. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna pump out 4K. But fuck, shit, like the way they say it, I don't even know, man. Alright, we start off with this weird ass fucking game. Now, Persona 5. And throughout the years, I've seen the Persona game. And now the Persona game doesn't really appeal to me, so I have no idea about it. It was the first trailer, honestly, the first trailer that popped up on IGN. That's kind of where I watched all my trailers. It's kind of where I got a lot of the ideas on how I feel about, all this shit that I wrote down, like fucking 5 pages here of shit for you guys to hear about from the Gaming Expo. Hopefully this video comes out better than the last one. The last one I tried to record it at 1080p, 60 frames per second, and YouTube was like, fuck you. And I'm like, fuck. So I cut this one down to 720p, 30 frames per second. So hopefully YouTube's like, okay. So fucking Persona 5, it's a shell shaded game and it's all Japanese, and I honestly watched like 45 seconds of it and turned it off. Moving on. Alright. Oh, and fucking, if you watch the games on IGN, now this isn't IGN's fault, but if you watch these trailers on IGN, there is a fucking ad, and yeah, there's ads in all the videos, but there's a fucking 2 commercials that fucking play all the goddamn time, and I actually wrote it down to talk about these 2 goddamn commercials, the Gillette commercial and the Horizon game commercial. Now the Horizon game commercial looks sweet. Now, I don't want to play the fucking game. I've seen the same commercial 30 fucking times for 30 seconds, and I can't even skip past it, so it's like, fuck that. Injustice 2, holy shit. There's an animation when you pick somebody. Now, the 2 people they picked was Atrocious, I hope I'm saying that right, Atrocious, and Supergirl. And when it picked the one dude, he kind of smirked, Atrocious, and she fucking blew ice at him. And there was 2 intros. Now, he walked through a portal as he came through, like, oh, the Red Lantern shit. And she was like, word to your mother, and kind of just dogged him. That was her intro. It wasn't really an intro, but I kind of wonder how everybody else's is going to be. Like, does the bad guy always get the intro, or does sometimes the good guy get it, or does it matter what position you pick from? Do you pick from the second controller or the first controller? Who gets the intro and who doesn't, or both of you? Zelda news. It's called Breath of the Wild. It looks the same as the last game, like graphically, but it looks kind of like the Wind Waker also. You are Link again. This time you are not Zelda. And those of you who don't know, motherfucking Link is the main character, not Zelda. Zelda is the princess that you save. It's kind of being like, oh yeah, I play Mario. Well, it's not the same fucking thing at all. Whatever. Either way, fucking Link, fucking Zelda. She's the princess. Okay, moving on. Yeah, you have the ability to climb. I don't know if you had the ability to climb before, but now you're like climbing on rocks. And there was like this cheesy ass fucking rock monster that formed up, but he had no face. It was just a boulder for a head. The Rock 2036, I think. WB pun. And you can cook like this big ass fucking. He was like doing the stir fry with the big ass Chinese pot, like if you ever went into a Chinese restaurant and you see them dudes whipping up your food and they're like, and they're like with the big freaking frying pan, it's like, and just rice everywhere. I'd get rice everywhere. They fucking don't. Spider-Man PS4 looks fucking amazing, dude. Like, They don't show any major villains though. They show you swinging through the city. They show a pileup of cars. Now I've never been to New York City. I've been to New York, the Horseheads, New York, but I've never been to the actual city, so I can't relate piles and piles of cars. But in movies they depicted it like that. Spider-Man comics they depicted it like that. In the game they depicted it like that, and it looks amazing. Another game that I didn't see until today was Days Gone. It's only on PS4. And from what I've seen, they look kind of like aliens, but then they look kind of like monsters. And it gave me The Last of Us feel with Dead Rising's like enemy mechanics where they're running at you and shit. And like he was fighting with his brother or something, and like they were on the woodshed. And he's like, this is inevitable. And he like hits him and he falls and he's like, fuck! And he breaks his leg. And then as he's running, they're both like running. And he just leaves them and the fucking zombie things like eat him up. So, but there's people coming from everywhere. Resident Evil 7, Desolation, I think it is. It has that PT feel. Like if you ever played PT, which was Hideo Kojima's other game that he made, and we'll get a little bit later in the video. But right now we're talking about Resident Evil, and the PT feel is there was a demo that came out and you walked around and there was like all this weird shit going on, and like stuff changed as you went through, and like the chandelier turned into a refrigerator hanging, it was dripping blood in your eye, and you're like, oh! And that's what the Resident Evil trailer felt like. Now I didn't see any actual gameplay, like I guess there's a bunch of gameplay trailers, but there was a bunch of stuff to watch. Holy crap. Like I said, I just turned the page, 1 full page, 2 full pages, 3 full pages. Like it's like 5 pages of stuff I covered, and this isn't everything. YouTube that shit. Like I'll put a couple links to some of the trailers I seen in the description box. You know how to get down there. You press that arrow button and it brings up the description. The new God of War. It's called God of War, but like you got a beard, like me, and you got long hair. Like it's like a Nordic God of War type thing. You still got the stripes and you're still pale white, but you have a regular looking son, and your son's dead in the God of War series. For those who've played God of War, you know you killed your family and you're the God of War. You do your soul, you try to save them, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You kill Zeus. Moving on to Watch Dogs 2. Now, Watch Dogs 2 looks fantastic. Watch Dogs 1 looked fantastic a couple years before it came out at another E3. So I'm kind of skeptical on how Watch Dogs 2 is going to play out. I know the story looks great. The story always is great. They set you up with different, like, you get like groups this time. Like you work with a different group, and like your goal is to hack this politician, and he's like corrupt and he's thinking you're helping him, but in reality you're actually going against him and exposing him to the world. So you got to keep kind of getting intel on him, and it looks kind of cool. It looks really cool, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hopefully we get what we see. Tekken 7, it's just something about that game, dude. Like I don't know, like when I remember Tekken, I remember like Virtual Fighter, and like it doesn't look right. It looks like Street Fighter. Like honestly, like the way they're fighting and the way they're standing, and like it looks like Street Fighter to me. I don't know. Did we talk about Dead Rising 4? We talked about Dead Rising when we were talking about that other game, but Dead Rising 4, it's set in the mall, and it's Christmas time again, so it kind of, they're talking about a possible just being a remake of the other Dead Rising, maybe Dead Rising 3, like a remaster, or just a remake from the ground up. Well, they still called it Dead Rising 4, but from the trailer that I've seen, it's fucking all the other Dead Risings. And what the hell is their name? Telltale's fucking Batman game. Now, the Batman game, they didn't show any gameplay for it, but they did show a couple screenshots, and the screenshots that I seen were of the Batmobile. They were Batman holding Catwoman. What the fuck was it? It was the computer, and it was Bruce Wayne. And now they talked about the Batman Telltale series being like a living comic book. And from what I've seen, it looks awesome. Like, I definitely want to play this game. Like, I want to play the hell out of this game. It looks fucking sweet. If they can pull off the comic book series